morning, and welcome back to another episode of Three Moms and a Dad. And today is a good one. Yeah, we posted it not too long ago, maybe a couple days ago, and we threw out the bait to see who would bite. And we have gotten over 600 comments so far, and the comments really kind of, people have an opinion about this one. So it is the question, is it okay to discipline someone else's child? So we're all parents here. We all have our different family dynamics.
We're all taking a deep breath.
Like,
we didn't do that. We're like,
Tracy, people went in on this.
People felt some type of way about the opportunity for you to discipline their child. And so I thought from the beginning we should say, I think somehow the word discipline automatically has a negative connotation.
That is true.
So when I think discipline, I'm thinking you manhandling my child. And we did have one of our viewers, one of our comments was, discipline means to teach, not to punish. And it's somehow when you say, hey, is it okay to teach another person's child? We all say, of course. But when you say discipline, it's like game on. Like what? Why are you touching? What is up? What is the problem?
But we all know, is it teaching, or is it trying to make somebody else's child like your child, and behave that way? Because what if you don't agree, and now this person's in your life, and you're like, I don't even know you.
Exactly. That's a good one, Rob.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Because you know what, everyone's friendly until you become personal, and then usually, and the other thing too, I think this resonates with so many people, because we all as parents struggle with this anyway at home. We struggle internally. Are we doing this the right way, the wrong way? Every kid's different. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's your own thing. And then when they're doing what you try so hard to stop at home in public, and then somebody else comes in. Have you ever noticed when you say something or even a look, then people become defensive?
It's judgment.
Because it's not so much about your kid necessarily. Now you're reflecting on.
Feel attacked a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would say I'm a pretty laid back person, but if your child is going to harm my child or acting crazy, I am going to judge you. If you are sitting there like just twiddling around on Facebook and your kid's running around with a knife or trying to hit my kid or an example like that,
Brittany, you need to move. You need to move.
Then I'm going to judge you. Like, come on, who are you running the house, or is your kid running the house?
Okay, so I got a question. Call on me.
Yes.
Would you then touch another person's child to stop him or her from injuring themselves or potentially injuring your child?
Only if it is endangers harm. You're going to get hurt running a car. I'm not going to hit them. I don't believe in that because you're teaching kind of bad examples, so it's bad. But I would stop them. I would grab the knife, and then I would talk to the mom later.
The knife,
That's just in my mind. That's how sick it'd have to be for me to touch the kid.
Now, you know, we got in so fast, we did not set up who we are. So I want to say that real quick. I'm Tracy Humphrey. I work here at ABC 10. I'm a meteorologist, and I have a daughter. I'm a single mom. Her name is Julian, and she is now 7 years old. And Rob has a tribe.
They were just I have many kids. I've got 3 kids. I'm also a weather person here. But again, and the purpose of this show, if you've never seen it before, is to share ideas. This is just, we're trying to get through this all together, and we know what we think, but sometimes with some of these comments, which we'll go through, and here on this panel, I always learn something new.
And I try it out at home. I don't know it all.
So that's what this is, a learning process.
Okay, cool. And so, Brittany, tell us a little bit your background.
Okay, my son is 12, and so, you know, we're just trying to learn other things. I have older kids coming to my house for a sleepover. I definitely would put them in a place. They were bad.
Well, saying in your home, that's different, though.
Yes, that's true. But I think when it's younger, it's a little bit different.
And our guest today.
Yes.
I'm Stina Brennan. My son is 4. He's in the studio with us. So hopefully he stays quiet. But yeah, so we kind of experience a lot of that on the playground. So
that's where it goes down.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I have on to, what does the expert say about disciplining someone else's child? So let's take a look at that one. The expert actually says, it's not intruding on another parent's turf when you're protecting your own child. But that's one lone instance, right? It could be a child that's running up and down the aisle, it may be possibly on an airplane and they're in your way. Sometimes they're in the grocery store. Maybe they're about to injure you. Maybe they're about to injure themselves. At what point do you step in? And I think the takeaway is, how do you step in? Are you stepping in lovingly? Like, stop, little Jimmy, you're going to hurt us.
No.
Or do you say, hey,
Oh,
if you got a knife, it's hey. But otherwise, it's.
Why do we keep going back to knives?
Right?
I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
So
No, because kids get knives in the kitchen.
that's true.
Well,
I mean,
that's
they're
true.
good. Look,
That's
let's
true.
face it. We all are like, oh my gosh, that's shocking. It's gone down in our house before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Kids
has.
walk around with knives.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, at least in my house. Right? Okay, we'll see. We'll talk about it after the show. Okay, so here's some comments from you. We heard from the expert, so we're gonna do the first comment here is from Patty D, and then a response to that, because like we were seeing conversations in these comments. So here we go with number 1. No, it is never okay to discipline somebody else's child. It will cause all kinds of trouble. Just walk away. So that's the safe thing. Just walk away, right? And then now Misty K says, now wait a second, just walking away is the attitude that has caused an entire generation of young people to believe that there are zero consequences for anything. So Misty, in this case, and I'm paraphrasing, not trying to put words in your mouth, but you know, maybe because the walk away attitude is so pervasive, because let's face it, a lot of times you just say, we're just gonna, we got a situation, we're gonna go away, instead of actually intervening and making this like a teachable moment and trying to make something positive out of this and long lasting, that maybe it's causing harm for society. I mean, I don't know if you want to go with that many steps, but Misty can see it that way.
I kind of agree with Misty on that one. But you know, it also depends on the energy that you're getting, because sometimes a parent can look like they have a little short fuse. They might be overwhelmed, and maybe you want to jump in. And then a lot of people said, "Don't chastise my child. Tell me if you think that something needs to happen or a behavior needs to be corrected."
Well, I mean, I will say, and I've shared this before, I had a PTA meeting, there was a mom, her kid was bullying. I tried to go to her, and she was going to beat me up. And I was just like, she got defensive, so you do have to be careful. Is that where the knife came in?
Right.
No, those were fists, and she was going to pound my face in.
Oh, no.
But, you know.
Yeah. And I can understand that, because you never know what you're going to get. Like, you know, whenever you're approaching a parent about their child, you don't know if they're going to be cool or if they're going to come out the bag on you.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Be ready. Like, but, you know, in a perfect world, we would hope that at least it would be handled with some kind of discretion and, you know, with just a level head.
Right, but you're right, you don't know, and that's the thing, like it starts with the kid, but if you're going to take it to the parents, and you don't know what kind of day they're having. Maybe they're normally a nice person, but when you're around kids all day long, sometimes it's just one of those days, right? So first of all, Drew, hey, what's up, Drew? We see you. Thanks for watching. We got Inderdeep who says yes, referring to the original question, is it okay to discipline somebody else's child?
And they own a restaurant. They said they do it all the time.
Oh, there we go.
Inderdeep did.
Yeah, Anthony White, who's a great fan of the show. We watch you. Loved your YouTube video, by the way. James Knoll said, I would state, thanks for the help. It's appreciated. And we got Catherine, no, let's just let the store embarrass the kid or let the parent be parent. So I sort of missed some of that conversation, but it's a difficult question because we all handle things in our own way. I'll do a couple more comments, and then it sounds like we're going to get a scenario.
Yeah,
right?
we got some
I
scenarios.
know what scenario you're thinking about. I think you told me.
Hey, don't give it away.
Okay, a couple more on that we got earlier on Facebook. You ready? This one's from KRISTIN H-A. I think it's fine. Yes, kids need to hear what is right and wrong from anyone to see who sees the bad behavior. Teachers, referees, moms who house kids play at, please teach and coach and discipline my kids. So KRISTIN's okay. Hey, if my kid's doing something wrong, go ahead and step in. I'm okay with it. They listen better to others anyway, and I'll do one more, and then we'll do what you want to do, Tracy. Great. I'm worried because you always set these up so well. But Sherry says, this is a great question. How I handle it is to speak to the adult. Kids love to eavesdrop when adults talk, and there are ways to speak with an adult that can
resonate with a child. Okay, so we're gonna have a little fun, bring a little levity into it, right? So we're gonna do scenario number 1. Each one of us will give our how we would handle it, and then we're gonna give an expert's view on how it should be handled. Okay, so scenario number 1: your kid comes home from school with a bite mark from another child. What do you do, Rob Carlmark?
This is important because now, as we all kind of agree, there's words or behavior, but then now it's physical, right?
Yeah.
So now it's next level stuff.
Yeah, this is physical.
So number 1, I would get the story from the kid. As you know, kids don't always remember things the right way.
Yeah.
Maybe they provoked it. Not saying that that's okay, but so you kind of get the story, and then I would just I would call the parent, not in a mean way. I'm like, hey, look, I'm with you. My kid. What I would do first is I would admit all my kids' flaws first. So then it's not like I'm perfect, you're wrong. Because if you start any conversation like that, you immediately get defensive.
Yeah,
So I'd say,
that's true.
I've had problems with this with my kid. Maybe I haven't, but I would just say that just to kind of allow them to be open-minded.
I wasn't thinking that
Just
at
to
all.
kind of like diffuse
Well,
a
I
little
mean,
bit.
yeah, exactly.
Your
Diffuse
face
the
goes
situation,
off.
so
Yeah.
then they're more open-minded. Okay, so this has happened, so then let's just talk about it,
Yeah.
and then figure out what to do next. Chances are they already know that kid does that. So if you come in from a point of just relatability, I think the
Yes.
conversation is going to go better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Britt, what did you do?
To me, that sounds like these are younger kids because when they're 2 or 3, they're going to bite at some point.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I know that that kid might have bit my kid today, but my kid might bite your kid tomorrow.
Right. Exactly, right? So that's how you say
Yeah,
it.
that's true. I mean, that's true.
That lightens the mood. It's about coming from a place of love and having that conversation of, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah.
At that age, it's going to happen.
Okay, I like it. All right, Stina.
Well, like everyone else, that I'm a talker. Like I want to get down to the bottom
Yeah.
of it. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a powwow. Let's make sure there's nothing further going on between the kids because
Good point.
I don't want it to be something that kind of like continues. So I'm an advocate for like parents talking it out, but there is a way to do it. Just like diffusing the situation, just to make sure that my point can get across, and then their point can get across, and we can just make sure that this mishap doesn't continue or happen again.
Okay.
Pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
So interesting. This happened when my daughter's like 2 or 3. She was at a Montessori, and she, as soon as I got there, the school said, "Oh, we had an incident. So and so bit Julian," but we talked to the parent of the child because they really didn't want parent interaction too much.
But they're doing it different.
They didn't. I guess they were trying to diffuse. Like they didn't
Yeah.
want me going in like, "Hey, what's up?" So I think they were like, so they talked to the other parent, and then said, "Okay, so we've done this. They've been warned. They have like so many other incidents that can happen, and then the child would be removed from the classroom or from the school." But initially, I was like, "Okay, so what happened?" And of course, you see the mark, and you're
Yeah.
thinking she was okay with it, but the way the school handled it helped it, so I didn't really have to get involved.
Got it.
And it was not an ongoing issue. So those things were all in our favor.
It was an established trust there, so
Yeah.
that makes it easier.
Okay, so this is the solution.
Oh wait,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
wait.
what is it?
Just
Oh,
because
oh,
this
what's your
this
comment?
comment is specific to this scenario.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
this is Nancy Grace McMillan. Hey Nancy, isn't this cool how this works?
Yeah.
I still don't understand technology. First, try to get as much information from your child, then follow up with the teacher or other parent. Ask questions first. Take a pic of the bite mark, and not be emotional when you make the phone call. Coming from a place of love, to your point. So there's a lot. We all relate to some of this stuff.
Yeah.
No, and I'm glad you said that. So if we are giving out a scenario and you have a comment on how you think you should handle it, let us know because Rob will see it real time. So here is the scenario 1 solution. Allow the teacher, I swear I did not read this.
This is coming from an
Did you?
expert?
This is coming from the expert.
Okay, great.
Allow the teacher to handle it. Also make sure that the teacher has spoken to the other child's parent. Now, I will tell you, I did not see this. But in that particular school, that was in Georgia, they did handle it exactly like this. It was not an ongoing issue. So for us, it was one and done, and we were done.
But the worst is when you're like, well, what kid was it? I can't tell you that. I gotta
Yeah, they
check
don't
the
wanna
privacy.
tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh, so that's they
that's
won't
a
tell
thing
you?
too.
They don't wanna
They
tell
won't
me
tell
no.
you sometimes.
Because they don't want, obviously
Go
they
for
must
the
have had a
kid.
situation where things got out of hand. So
I
they're
can
trying
understand
to
that. I can
protect all
understand
parties.
that.
Because we all agree there's that line, and when
Yeah.
it's crossed, then all of a sudden it becomes personal. Because now
yeah.
you're protecting your child, and
Exactly.
then like raw emotions come out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, scenario 2.
Okay. Why do you look at me?
No, I'm just.
Oh, I'm like,
You
is
can
there
tell we
something
work
going
together
on?
closely.
Ooh.
Okay, your child
Certain
is
night.
having a play date. You notice that the other child is being bossy, hogging the toys, and refusing to clean their mess. What do you do?
Oh boy.
Okay, Rob, you went first last time. Okay, Stina, what would you do?
Me? Okay. Well, for one, I would try to talk to the child. Like what I do with my son, I kind of sit down and I pull him to the side. Hey, let's calm down real quick. Let's do breathing exercises. We do yoga, so I try to do that.
Oh, that's good.
So with the child, if they're having, having their moment, they're having their bossy moment, hey, let's take a second and breathe. And if that still doesn't work and it's just like getting out of hand, almost to the point of, maybe pushing, shoving, yelling, then at that point I would just call the parent, hey, I don't know what's going on. So-and-so is feeling away. Is it possible you can come and pick them up? Just so we don't disturb the rest of the play date.
Oh, I like it.
I like that.
You know, that exact scenario went down, and I appreciated it. So my neighbor had both kids over. They're both equal ages,
Yeah.
so they go and they play, and it was like a gift. She's like, do you want them to come over and play? I'm like, yes, please. And we have an understanding, and that's what's important in all this. If you have a good relationship, then she just came over and said, he's ready for a nap. And I knew what that, and I was like, okay, we're good.
Got it.
Because every minute was a gift, so that he could play and have fun, and I could get some stuff done. But that's a tough one because, whatever you tell that kid, they're going to tell their parents.
That's right.
In their own way.
That's right.
And that's really what's important to remember about kids is like, they might say, that daddy was being so mean to me, and then might have this other exaggerated version because that's how they felt, and then you might have to explain it even more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe intervening without having to talk might be a good one, just to try and I always go to diversion and things like that to try, but sometimes you gotta they gotta go home.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I look for, again, pattern of behavior. So if it happens a lot, I'm just not going to have that kid over because I'm just not dealing with it. Done. But I will tell you that there is a life lesson in this scenario because
now we know where the nice story's coming from.
Because guess what? Your whole life, you're going to deal with someone bossing you around. It's never going to go away. So at some point, my conversation with Chance was, all right, so how do we work around this? What is our workaround if someone is being bossy? And kind of teaching him that lesson. But your kid's like super bossy, first time, second time, third time, no. You gotta go. You're not done.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were possibly doing that, I'm hoping that I'm close enough with the parent that I feel like I can then parent their child. So they would probably, so if you're my home, game on, whatever goes for my child goes for your child. If it was a real issue, I might give him or her a timeout. Just say, hey, can we just, figure this out? I just need you to take a little time to yourself. If it became an ongoing issue, then you probably couldn't come back because at some point it's not a play date anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And we're not having fun.
Yeah.
So it also depends on the age of the child.
It does. That's the key.
So you got some good comments?
Yeah, we got, and specific to this, so this is what we appreciate. It's the ongoing conversation. Anthony Cooper, play date is different because the parents. That's true.
Yeah.
So it's a different set of options you have there. Yeah. And T. Lee Richardson said, I would take the toys and find out if they can play together without the commotion.
That's a good one.
A lot of these things too, I always view it, what is age appropriate?
That's
a 1-year-old is different than a 2-year-old, different than a 5-year-old. So you have to make sure you're not doing the 5-year-old treatment to the 2-year-old treatment.
That's
and I forget that in my house all the time. I'm like doing all these elaborate explanations and he's just like, so that does not work.
I never thought taking the toys away though. So
that's a good
sometimes it's
option,
just that. Sometimes it's just like possessions.
You want the solution?
Yes. Did we get it right?
Restrain yourself.
That's what I said.
Is restrain yourself, period. Reiterate the house rules, then offer a reward.
What? Be nice to kids and you get a snack?
I don't know. This is what the expert said. Then offer a reward. Be upfront about the problem at pickup.
I was kind of there.
Right? The parent's not hearing it from the child. They're hearing it from another parent. I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Oh, just so you know, warning, my mom is watching. So I may change some of my responses.
No, your mom was a principal, so she needs to
you want to talk about, check this out. Mom, I hope you don't mind me sharing this story. She's a principal at a time when you were actually legally allowed to and expected to paddle the students.
Still do that in Georgia. They still do corporal punishment.
And my mom would tell me that she did not enjoy that at all whatsoever, and it was just not something that really she felt like she ever wanted to do because she didn't feel like it solved the problem. So anyway, not to put words in your mouth, Mom, but that's what you told me.
Okay. Do you have any other comments that you wanted to go for?
Let's see, Lindsay, tell your child to share, and this is from Lindsay Sue. Tell your child to share and explain it's okay to share and set an example by joining in or changing the play setting. Yeah, sometimes they just need like a mediator, maybe.
Yeah. Give them a snack. Start over.
It's all about the snacks.
What about if it's a mom that you have a mom crush on, like somebody you really want to be your friend, and then you kind of cross? I mean, I still would never sacrifice my kid's safety, but there are some moms I'm like, I want to be your friend. Like, every month you go to the cabin and wherever, I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
So are you saying like even if the kids don't get along, you're going to let some stuff slide because you want to be friends with the parent, right?
A little thing. I don't have any friends, but I'm saying if I had one that was like that, maybe.
Well, I would think you would garnish a relationship where you can kind of like be open and like talk and be like, hey, I really like this friendship, but let's work on the behavior,
That's true.
I want everyone to comment on what Brittany just said. Okay, so scenario number 3. A kid keeps pushing your child at the playground, and the other parent isn't doing anything about it.
I've actually had this happen to me. So.
All right, so you want to start off first?
Yeah, let's
what did you do?
Hold on. Let me pull up the chair.
That's about to get good.
Let's get buckled in. No. But me and Mars, we were at the playground. You know, they're having a good time. And, you know, kids, they can run, they can get a little rough. It's a push, it's a bump here. But this one child was like, I don't know, obsessed with like just pushing him. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm like, Mars, come here, baby. And I'm like, come here, let's play over here. You know, the child goes over there and starts pushing him again. And I'm just like, okay. So now I'm like, all right, Mars. I'm looking around trying to find the child's mother. So I'm like, locate the mom, and I'm like, okay, Mars, let's go over here and let's just let her know, you know, that her child is pushing you. So he went over there. He said, excuse me, he's pushing me. And the mom was like, oh, like she didn't even realize it was going on. Like she was just kind of like, she had multiple kids on the playground, so I can understand. So then, you know, she called her son over, and then next thing you know, it was like, hey, you pushed him, can you stop? And the little boy apologized, and then they went off playing, and that was that. So I was grateful that the situation diffused that way. But, you know, at first I was very upset because I'm like, why is this child pushing my son?
But here's the thing, though. You did not
She let them solve it themselves.
Yeah, she let them solve it, but she did not put her hand on the other person's child.
No.
Because she could have easily said, hey, we don't push, and done that. Because there are other, you know, or you can get in between. There are other ways that you can handle it. Because a lot of people on our comments kept saying, don't touch my child. So a lot of people are really big on that one.
I find it easy if you extract your child from the situation because your child knows how you guys do things, you know? So it's easier to do that and then address.
And it's also, you know, anything more than that, it's not guaranteed what's going to happen next.
Correct.
But you know, if you're gone, you know reasonably that it's over, unless the kid keeps following around.
I would say I'm never going to touch a kid, but I would be mad. You want me to be honest with you? If a kid is pushing my kid and the mom is not paying attention, I'm going to be mad, and I'm probably going to go up to her with an attitude and be like, "What? Do you not see what's going on? Like, your kid just pushed my kid off the thing." Like, that would make me angry, and I would probably take it out on her, and that's why I only have one kid. And I know someone has to agree with me.
We've got Barbara here on Facebook that says, redirect my child to play somewhere else, just a simple solution. That seems to be like an easy thing to do. The kid's happier, the parents happier, you don't have any sort of confrontation. So we talked about this earlier. I have a different way.
What do you do?
Oh, I know.
It's a sort of in between. As you're doing that, if it's so egregious and you really feel offended, like the parent really just doesn't care, and maybe the parent needs this moment, like they need to realize that it's affecting others, and like people are leaving, and now like we're all having a good time, now we're not. What's going on here? You might say, maybe I've said it, you just say, take the child away and say, you know what, we're just not going to play anymore because some people around here don't know. Some people around here just don't know how to play with others. So we're going to do our thing and have fun, and that's that.
You know, I've honestly done that before too. Because I was just over it, and it was just like, I didn't even feel like going. I've honestly done it. That's like not the best, but I've done it. I'm like, come on, Mars, it's time to go.
It's a sunny place for shady people.
All right, Tracy, what would you do? I want to know. I think you do what I did.
Okay, so it depends on the age.
Okay.
If my child is around 3 or 4 and your child is pushing and you're not doing anything, I'm a little bit more assertive. So I would probably stop initially. I would discipline the child and say, hey, we don't push. So let's not do any pushing. Is there, you know, anything else going on between you two? I would use that opportunity to parent. Now, if it continued thereafter, I would say, you know, hey, can we find your mom? You know, because we really don't want any pushing. If it's about middle school age, 10 to 12, hopefully I'm not there on the playground with them. But if my 10 to 12-year-old told me someone was pushing them at school, then I'd probably go to an administrator. And probably try to figure it out.
And sometimes, like, that third party can really make a difference.
It does.
Now
they're
they,
objective.
Yeah, exactly. And they can sort of, it takes your own emotions out of it a little bit. By the way, there's a bunch of new people that are just tuning in. So if you're just new to this, what we're talking about here is it okay to discipline somebody else's child? That's what the topic is.
And the scenario 3 solution was address the parent. So I think we all did well on that. Now, you know, I wanted to say, a lot of people also said on the comments that sometimes when you address the child, you may not know any extenuating circumstances going on with that child. So if your child may be autistic, or maybe your child is acting out, and then you have some third party coming in saying, why don't you get your kid under control? They don't know the day you've had. They don't know what's really going on. So you do have to be conscientious.
Very conscious.
But I do feel like if you give it in a loving way, like, you know, you shouldn't do that. Your mom's having a bad day. Or maybe you say, can I help you? It's all in how you
and I think that's a good thing, to just talk to the parent, because sometimes if you just, hey, do you need a little help or whatever, and you're offering it with a loving tone, because sometimes some people are like, well, do you need help? And it's like, okay, come on now.
Yeah.
Do you think moms or dads are more likely to accept help from other parents?
Well, again, since I'm the dad,
Yeah.
all men in the world, because this is on YouTube now. You know, it obviously it so depends. Like in my family, my wife's probably better disciplined than I am, because I'm good time. You know, I'm daddy good times.
Yeah.
You know, you want candy? Sure.
Oh man.
But then there's consequences.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not the disciplined person, then they always come to you, and that's not fair to the other parent, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So let's get a couple more comments in here. This is Carlene B. And again, the original question is, and this is what they're responding to, is it okay to discipline somebody else's child? So her comment is, it depends on how they discipline and why. Not everyone has the same ideas of what discipline is and what needs discipline. Exactly. Like maybe it's manners. Maybe it's like they didn't open the door for somebody, and then, you know, that's a really big deal for some families, and for other families it doesn't matter. How about this one? Yes, it is fair. Discipline your own child, and someone else won't have to.
Ooh.
So yes, it is fair to discipline
had a little
somebody
heat
else's
on
child.
it. Okay.
Well,
Little heat.
spice.
We've got Larissa up next. Not a stranger's child, but my best friend's kiddos.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
it takes a village. And that really is, I mean, it seems like these days mostly kids are playing with kids they kind of know.
Yeah.
And you're hanging out with families that you know. But, you know, in some of these situations, public places, a train museum, it goes down at the train museum.
Oh my.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
It
good
goes
to know.
down
I was
there.
going to take Mars this weekend.
No, the thing too is that sometimes these situations arrive because parents take a break when kids are playing together. They're like, oh, that's great.
A long time.
And then they take
taking
like
a breath.
5 minutes, but a lot can happen with kids in 5 minutes.
man.
So.
Yes, it
I've been
can.
at the grocery store, and when my chance was smaller, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've just been stressed out. Because do I have enough money for groceries? I have X, Y, and Z in my mind, and chance is acting up. And I've had like grandmas, more women than men, like kind of help me, like, hey, your mom's busy, like, or like, make those faces, and I'm like, you know what? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
For helping me,
It makes a
because
difference. Yeah.
I'm one person, and I got to make sure I have enough money to get out of here.
Yeah,
Right.
and see, that's understandable. It's a gesture. It's not I guess what a lot of people would call it a scolding. Like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, it's you know, it makes it easier when you're like, hey, let me pick up a toy. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah,
Yes!
help
So
you.
it's like, oh, thank you. Distract him, please.
And my biggest thing, and I think this is a wonderful example. Have you been on a plane when a kid is kicking the back of your chair?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. No flashbacks.
And when you turn around, are you glaring at the kid? Are you glaring at the parent? Or am I like, ding? He keeps kicking my chair. Will you handle that?
No. You brought in a flight attendant for that?
I would, because I felt like if I turned around, my energy was going to be too strong, and I felt like my energy would
I
be
definitely agree
off-putting.
with that. I agree with
Because
that.
when it keeps happening, and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
and then the parent says, I'm sorry, and then 15 minutes later, it's happening again.
I'm sorry, it's not gonna fix the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
You got a lot
understand
going
that.
on day. And so I called the flight attendant. And I said, "Ding, just move her chair." Yeah. And so the flight attendant said, "Hey, could you?" Because at that point, if I turn around and then I get into it with the adult,
No, yes,
then it becomes a scenario.
Yeah.
And you know, they remove people
I
off
was going to say,
planes
we're all
real
getting kicked off
easily
the
these
plane.
days.
They will have everybody exit the plane, and then at that point, you
Right.
have a passenger list full of angriness.
Someone who's been kicked off a plane, for my kid acting bad. I get it.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I like, if there was a situation and then the flight attendant got brought in before talking to me,
You'd be upset.
I'd go next level.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
What is next?
Passive aggressive talk.
Some flight attendants can't
It's a
handle
long
kids.
flight. It's a long flight, and we've got lots to talk about.
Oh my God.
Well, what about if you're at a nice,
Okay.
fancy restaurant,
Uh-huh.
right? Like an expensive one.
Yeah.
And the table next to you has a kid that's just like yelling and screaming. I had this happen to me. I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let it ride. But in my mind, I was like, oh, can you get it under control? But I didn't say anything. No judgment. Anyone else ever feel like that?
I've had.
I have kids, so I can say
I've
it.
had a child like climbing over the booth on us, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like, whoa, and then it's like, hey, excuse me, I don't know if you noticed, but your child is kind of like over the booth, and then the parent is like,
Just
oh
kick
no,
me in the head.
I didn't see them while their kids' legs are up in the air. I'm just like, yeah, no worries, okay.
And usually it's fine, but then Lindsay Sue brings up a
what
good
she's
point.
saying.
Sometimes the parent is watching and doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's
True.
the worst. And
That's
that's
true.
like,
I think they care. I think they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'd like to think maybe they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some extenuating
True.
circumstances. Maybe they got health issues. Maybe a grandparent is sick. I'm trying to think. I think people care. That's the only way I can process it and be nice about it. I have to think that they got a lot going on.
If the parent's actively trying to fix the problem and compassionate and nice, I'm not going to blow up.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes you just saying something just to make the parent, you know, kind of step in a little bit more. So that way you're not having to feel like, okay, now I have to address your child. You know what I mean? So sometimes just saying, hey, they're like, oh, yeah, so sorry, you know.
It's cool. They're just zoned out. I mean, look, we get zoned out. So sometimes just a little, hey. Like we used to, hey. Okay, so a couple quick shout outs before Tracy, you wrap it up. T. Lee, thank you. We see you. Keely, thank you so much. And we've got Nancy Grace McMillan, who's been making a bunch of comments, and a bunch of people like what Nancy has to say. So, and Bill says, to the original question, is it okay to discipline somebody else's child? Says, you know, it's probably the quickest way to get punched in the face these days.
That's true.
And you know what? That because let's face it, sometimes that does happen too. Sometimes it just instantly goes there because we don't know what's going on.
You don't know if they're going to come out the bag on you.
What? So. I like that.
Here's the thing, though. It should not be like that. I should be able, as another parent, to help a parent or to address a child if it's done in a corrective and loving place, without feeling like I'm going to get physical harm by saying, hey, your kid almost knocked something over, or hey, you know, they almost knocked my kid over.
Right.
You know, I shouldn't have to feel like I'm going to be injured.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people do. And why do people go so big? I mean, I'm not.
What world we live in?
Everyday stressing. It's like you never know what someone else is going through. So that might just have been the straw that broke the camel's back that day. You know, who knows?
I'm just gonna say, try not to punch somebody.
Exactly.
If they're just trying to help.
Exactly.
Which is probably why the kid would be acting up, because the parents are modeling that aggressive behavior.
Could be.
That's a good point.
Could be. All right. So we're gonna end our discussion today. Did we learn anything? I learned. You can take away the toys, or you can offer a reward. I wouldn't have thought of that. Anything else you guys learned today?
I think the reward one's a good one because kids respond to rewards.
They do.
So once they're going to get something out of this, they will change their behavior.
Yeah, they do. And mine was the same. It's the rewards and just kind of taking the toys away and saying, you know what, hey guys, let's just talk to each other. Let's see what's going on there.
And I would say if you operate from a place of love, outside, not inside voice, usually you get love back.
That's true.
And also admit as a parent that sometimes your kid isn't perfect.
That's
And as long as you know, like, okay, because people get defensive usually. You know, that's usually like your initial reaction about anything, really. So if you can just take half second and be like, okay, let's start there. No one's perfect. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Biggest takeaway is just be compassionate.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining us today. You can always re-watch this on YouTube. Of course, you can always catch us on Thursdays, 10:30 on our Facebook Live. If you have a good topic that you think we're kind of pushing, I love to like push the envelope.
Yeah.
Hey, let us know. We want to tackle those topics. We're all parents here. We're all kind of diving in. We're learning. We're sharing.
Yeah.
We're growing. And thank you for being with us today on 3 Moms and a Dad.
I'm regressing.